Elena Casas is here for that. Elena, what's making the international headlines today?
Well, let's start in Bosnia. Today, or tomorrow, I think, is the anniversary of the start of the siege of Sarajevo, which then started, of course, the Bosnian War. Now, The Guardian is looking back over this today, and they say on their front page, hatred is still contaminating lots of the former Yugoslavia. So they've got this article inside from their correspondent who covered the war at the time, who's gone back to come and visit some of the people that he met then. And unfortunately, the report he brings back isn't overly optimistic. He says hatred continues to haunt Bosnia 20 years on. Bosnian and Serb children are growing up more separately than ever before, not going to the same schools, mixed marriages less common than ever. He reckons politicians are more entrenched in sectarianism than they were before the war. Of course, there's this row going on about the Serb Republic, the Republika Srpska, if it should be an independent state or not. They say that the people there don't necessarily care, not the people that he met. They're concerned about issues like their spending power and jobs that worry people all across Europe, not necessarily about issues of ethnic sectarianism, but their politicians are getting more and more dug in. And of course, the more they get into this sectarian rhythm, the harder it is for them to pull themselves out. So he actually says that among ordinary people, there's great examples of cooperation, like the Bosnian former soldiers who shared their pensions with their Serbian counterparts because the Serb Republic was too disorganised to come up with any funds for those soldiers' pensions. But the politicians just seem to be stuck in 1992.
Interesting details there. Moving away from Europe, you're looking at the state of the race for the White House as well.
Yes, this is also in The Guardian. They say the race for the White House has started, but the only person in the running is President Obama. Of course, they're talking about how the Republicans have got themselves so stuck in endless primary contests that whoever wins, which almost certainly will be Mitt Romney, has got a long way behind Obama in terms of grassroots campaigning. The Obama campaign is holding 4,000 meetings just between now and June, with offices, some of which have been open since early 2009 for this campaign, all across the country, mobilising voters, whereas Romney has closed a lot of his offices in states which have already had their primaries because he doesn't want to spend the money on keeping them open. But they say that means the Republicans are going to lose out badly in the long run. There's also the internet thing. Obama's campaign has mobilised millions of people via social networking sites. They've got detailed profiles of people who plan to vote so they can target campaigns very specifically at different voter demographics. The Republicans are miles behind with all of this. But the New York Times says we shouldn't conclude too quickly that the election is going to be a foregone conclusion, that Obama's going to win just because the Republicans have torn themselves apart so badly during this primary process. They reckon the general election could be entirely different to this primary race, which of course has been marked by volatility, things changing all the time, different candidates being put up against Romney. They say in the long run for the general election, people's opinions are much more entrenched. It's quite a polarised political landscape in America, so you've got like 40% on either side who are unlikely to change their vote under any circumstances, and perhaps less than 10% of truly undecided voters in the middle that there are to fight for. In order to win those people over, Obama and Romney are going to have a real debate about real ideas, not the kind of personal sniping that's characterised the primary race.
Okay, interesting stuff. And moving back to Europe now, a trial going on in Turkey to judge the perpetrators of a coup 32 years ago there.
Yes, Hurriyet newspaper reports that the 92-year-old Kenan Evren, once the country's most powerful man at the head of a 1980s military junta, is now being tried for his involvement in that coup d'etat. They say it's something lots of Turks have been waiting for years, to try and see justice for some of the people who were killed and detained during that coup. And the fact that he has come to trial is an extraordinary piece of progress, he says, for Turkish democracy, which has long been dominated by the military.
Okay, and just finally, we've got to get this in, the British Foreign Office publishing some of the daft requests it gets from Brits who travel abroad.
Yes, The Guardian quotes Foreign Minister William Hague at length talking about this, and I'm going to have to quote him too, because it's very well put. He says, "It's not our job to book your restaurants," which might seem obvious, but nonetheless came as a surprise to one Brit in Spain who didn't know where to have Christmas lunch. If you find ants in your holiday rental, like one man in Florida, the Foreign Office are not the people to call. And we are not the people to turn to either. If you can't find your false teeth, if you're unhappy with your plastic surgery, or like one love-struck Brit, you want to say "I love you" in Hungarian.
Aww.
All of these are real requests that the British Foreign Office has received.
Good old Brits abroad.
Good old Brits abroad.
Excellent. Well, you have been warned, Brits. Don't ring the Foreign Office for trivial requests. Thank you very much indeed, Elena, for that look at today's newspapers. Well, let's get a quick look now at